Today's edition of Toggle's Daily Video Insights. My name is Jan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Toggle. And as many of you who are joining us again today know, we do these trading insights every single morning by reviewing all of the different incremental updates that Toggle makes across 15,000 different assets. Today, the spotlight is going to be on QQQ, the Nasdaq ETF by Invesco. If you'd like to see these insights more regularly, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel or otherwise take a look at toggle.global, where you can also test drive the Toggle Copilot, the intelligent dashboard that we'll be using through this presentation. The first thing to notice is, as we look at the asset overview, is that actually there haven't really been any meaningful updates on Nasdaq for quite some time. And this is the first one in a while, which is in this case actually driven by sentiment. And so what we simply do is, when you look at this, the system gives you a quick overview of what the price pressures are likely to be, which basically shows a return to the highs at about 334.70. Clicking on this will take us straight into the actual article, and you can now see exactly the starting point, the end point, and the red line below which, if the price were to drop, the odds of this driver and the pattern still being relevant would have dropped quite dramatically. Now, what is the insight actually telling us? Basically, it's conveying that the sentiment indicators for the economy have improved quite meaningfully. And so historically, what has happened subsequently is a almost 3.5% rise in the price of QQQ over the following month. There have been 12 similar occasions where this had happened, which is what Toggle had used in order to do the analysis and provide this projection along with a confidence interval. And so what you would typically expect is the price to stay somewhere inside this greenish area. Now let's take a look at the actual drivers and the previous period. So what you're seeing here is that, in fact, although investor confidence, which is the sentiment about the US, has definitely improved, and this is one of the drivers, there's also an interesting setup noting that actually the 12-month momentum remains very, very strong, but that the 12-day MACD had actually switched below zero. So there might be a moment of just a bounce in the price, which is why the horizon in this case is quite a bit shorter, only about a month, suggesting a return and retest of the highs. Looking through the back test, you can also see that actually historically, if you had acted on these insights, the upside versus the downside ratio is quite good. So a lot of the episodes resulted in return higher than 3.5%, which is the median that we saw above, and the downside was quite contained. However, looking at the P&L of acting on all of these positions shows that actually occasionally it was really quite choppy, and in fact you could have given back all of the gains if you didn't respect the stop losses. So it's very important to really reassess if the price of QQQ does not behave according to what the expectation would be in line with the projection above, because presumably there's some other driver that Toggle was not identifying that is instead more relevant for the continued dynamic in the price. So much for QQQ today. In the daily brief, which by now, for those of you who have subscribed, should already be in your mailbox, we also discussed the reason why we saw a meaningful dip in the oil prices recently. If you don't have the daily brief but would like it, please visit toggle.global, where you can subscribe. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.